I started at 12. I remember I had an accident where I injured my forehead. I had a surgery, the scab came out. After the surgery, the scab fell, but it came out again. 4 years passed, and it kept growing. It started to appear on the rest of the body. The doctors didn't know what it was, and they did a biopsy. By this time, I was almost 17. They diagnosed me with psoriasis.
I have 19 years with this sickness, psoriasis, which at the beginning, as we don't know about this stuff, I thought it was dandruff. Little by little it grew on my legs. In those days, I played soccer, and I covered my legs with the socks so nobody could see me.
The psoriasis started when I was 11 years old. At first, some white spots that were barely noticeable appeared all over my body. And later on, they appeared on my elbows, my knees, my bottom, and even in my scalp.
Well, the sickness started almost 2 years ago. I spotted swelling on my foot. At the beginning, I thought that maybe an insect or something had bit me and didn't pay attention. But the swelling started to grow and came out on the other foot. I went to a dermatologist and he told me it was a fungus. It started to grow more, to come out in other places, in the arms, in the back, in the stomach.
The sickness appeared at an adult age. I was 47 years old.
He started with redness, beginning in the head, and was going down little by little.
When it started on my arms and chest, it grew at the same level, right? Nowhere else, so I could see the difference between healthy skin and the redness and swelling.
A very important fact of a skin sickness like psoriasis is that its presence, especially when it grows in visible places, is going to have a great impact in the feelings of the patient and in his social behavior.
This sickness has really ruined my life. I'm 52 and I've never been married. I don't have any kids. The dream of seeing my body clean and touch my skin with my hands was totally gone. I felt different. I had little self-esteem. That's the way I felt. It's just the way I felt.
The psoriasis had affected me a lot. I've changed. I stopped to be who I was. And I feel desperate to see that the sickness is not stopping. On the contrary, it's growing. I just pray it doesn't show on my face, because in other parts of my body, I can't cover it.
In a certain way, it limits you. It limits you a lot of stuff. If it's hot, you have to be covered all the time, and you have to take it. If it's cold, the skin gets very dry. Nor the heat or the cold helps our condition. I was covered all over. I wasn't able to walk. I needed somebody to hold me from each side to go see the doctor. With every movement, my body bled. My clothes always stained.
His temperature was very high. At night, they reached 40 degrees, and I lowered it with cold water. After 15 or 20 minutes, we had to cover him up because he was cold. The skin on his feet broke, and they bled.
I always covered myself with the sleeves down to here, because every day you could see more and more of my sickness. When my body was damaged 80 or 90%, when the only clean part was here, I told my wife one day that I wasn't going to work anymore.
The injuries of the skin are strong as I describe it, but there are injuries that I call of the soul. The ones that come from social rejection, isolation, sadness, solitude, and depression. All of those things that the sickness brings require a different healing process. The intention was to integrate as a group because there we could find a little of that relief. We have been able to help a lot of people with psoriasis. On the emotional side, the authorities have certified us to give dermatologic assistance and legal orientation, as well as psychological services and, as they call it, social orientation. That's why we created the groups, where we want to base this organization so it is different from the other ones.
It has helped me a lot. First, because I started to speak out all the problems I had. I kept quiet. I contained myself. I can talk to my parents, to my family, but they don't understand. Here, if I scratch, I talk about how I feel, about my injuries, and they understand.
Here I find myself with people that have the same experiences as me. If I talk about the itchiness, if I talk about the coal tar, if I talk about the fear and anguish that a patient with psoriasis has gone through, the discrimination, the rejection, the feeling of being different, they understand me. We all talk the same language.
Here they help a lot. They are very kind. They give you a hand and get involved because they have the same sickness and they know about the social rejection.
Come here and have faith. Here you will find part of the cure. Because for me, part of the cure is this. The other half, the medicine.
For me, it has helped me to share how I feel, everything I have lived with him, you know.
It is very important to know the symptoms of the sickness. The patient has to understand that even though this doesn't have a cure, it is not contagious and cannot damage other people. Nowadays, we have several efficient treatments that allow you to live without psoriasis for long periods of time. Today, we can speak of years without psoriasis. The most important thing to know is that there are treatments that you can live without the illness. When the injuries in the skin disappear, the skin is totally normal, and in the presence of psoriatic arthritis, we can prevent the destruction on the articulation for those patients that have it, even with the new treatments.
For us, the group is very important. Even though I don't have psoriasis, it helps the families to help them in all they need, all they want.
I have a lot of faith and confidence. Here I learned to love me. I don't love the sickness, but I love me. And something I've been thinking about is that I have psoriasis. The psoriasis doesn't have me. I control it.
The faith, the self-esteem, all of those things that I have lost, here I've found them again.
I've started to want my skin to be well, so that somebody likes me. Now I feel confident that even with my sickness, I can evoke true love from another person. That is something new. It's refreshing. It's a real pleasure for me. I just love it.
This big opportunity of being able to embrace here at the association, the Grupo Sendero de Vida, in each meeting new patients that come with no self-esteem, that come with their skin very damaged, that come with broken spirit, with their feelings smashed, and to be able to give them a hug and tell them that nothing is going to happen, that they will be fine, and transmit all of that. It's priceless.
Come to the association. It's the best option there is.
The psoriasis
Is treatable.
We're not longer
We
alone.
are not longer alone.
together
We're improving our
Quality of life.